Raleigh, North Carolina. ACC College Basketball presented by your local Ford dealer, the home of the pack, PNC Arena. As NC State hosts Texas Southern, it's the first all-time meeting between these two programs, and we are ready to go tonight in the ACC. It is so great to have you with us for our game this evening, Tom Wormy, along with the All-American from Duke, Mike Jaminski. Mike, great to see you as we start another season from the broadcast position courtside. Unfortunately for NC State, dealing with another devastating injury. It happened last year with Devin Daniels and a knee injury. This year it's the shot blocker Manny Bates out with a shoulder injury.
And it's going to impact them both sides of the floor, both ends of the floor, Tom. And he was the premier shot blocker in the league, and you could take chances with him back there in the middle. And also a guy they could throw the ball to in the paint and have him manufacture offense.
Well, one of the players trying to make up the difference, Darion Sebron. This is a player, Mike, who about a year ago was averaging less than 5 points per game. Now he leads them in scoring and rebounding.
And, you know, and Kevin Keats said guys like to step up, a tremendous improvement, averaging a double-double early in the year. Terrific in the open floor. He can also finish in the paint area in the half court.
Look at this consistent scoring early on, and the 24 points against Central Connecticut, a career high for Sebron, who also averages over 10 rebounds per game. Yes, it's early in the season, but that is second best in rebounding in the ACC. Step aside for just a moment. When we come back, it's the Pack and the Tigers. This is ACC basketball. The opening tip is straight ahead. NC State hosting Texas Southern out of the SWAC here at PNC Arena on a Sunday evening. Time for our Toyota starting lineups for the head coach, Johnny Jones. His leading scorer in the early portion of the season is John Walker III, almost 15 points per game. Had 16 in a loss at Air Force in their most recent game. Toyota starting lineups for Kevin Keats, and it features Jericho Helms. He's a senior from St. Louis, Missouri. 18 points in their most recent game against Oklahoma State. And he did a lot of damage from the free throw line, 10 for 10 from the line. Also had a 22-point performance against Bucknell earlier this season. The opening tip will be controlled by the Tigers of Texas Southern in the maroon, NC State the white and red. And here we go, ACC basketball on a Sunday evening with the All-American Mike Jaminski. Texas Southern 0-4, seeking its first win of the season. That one spins off, and here comes the pack.
And that's the thing, you know, we're going to talk about not having Manny Bates, but now teams are not even looking for him in the paint area, and that's what a shot blocker does. He kind of lurks around there, and that was just an easy missed layup.
NC State is 3-1 on the season, 2-0 at home so far. Coming off the loss Wednesday against Oklahoma State. Trying to work it inside. Dewana with a difficult shot, well defended. The Tigers get it back.
I want to see, see him get some touches early on in this season. Get him comfortable catching the ball in the lane and doing something with it.
Tigers traveling all over the continent. Coming off the game against Air Force. They've been to Oregon, California, the state of Washington, Colorado. Fast break. NC State and Helms will finish.
Yeah, good look ahead that time. Poor transition defense by Texas Southern. Really didn't identify anybody coming back.
And now the Tigers throw it away and back to the pack.
There's a look, and this is the thing, we talk about Sebron. The one thing he brings in as well as his offense is being able to dribble out of the backcourt. Good look ahead for the break, easy 2 points.
Helms is averaging double digits in the early going this season with 12 points for the senior. Leading returning scorer for NC State. He averaged 13 per game a season ago. When NC State won some late games in that schedule and was able to get into the NIT. Won in the first round against Davidson. Lost to Colorado State in the next round. 65-51 at the NIT. Shot clock is deep, and that ball's out of bounds. All right, time for our keys to the game, brought to you by your local Ford dealer with Mike Jaminski.
And Texas Southern, anytime you play against NC State, you've got to take care of the ball. They really live on turnovers and getting offense out of that. For NC State, they're really concerned about the defensive glass in this game, trying to limit second chance points.
Kevin Keats is in his 5th season on the NC State bench. In his first year, took him to the NCAA tournament. couple of appearances at the NIT as well under Keats so far. That one stripped away. The numerical advantage, NC State. Back to C. Brown, and he lays it in from Helms.
Doing a nice job of transition offense end-to-end, quickly getting some turnovers.
Darion Sebron, the redshirt sophomore from Norfolk, Virginia. Tigers turn it over again. Morcell crosses over. Couldn't complete the Euro-style move, and here come the Tigers in transition. Gilliam with the miss. Dewana goes high for the board.
That's one thing early on, Texas Southern. They've got 14 made threes in 4 games total. Not a part of their offense early on.
Helms, wide open 3. NC State shooting 32% from beyond the arc. That is 10th in the ACC so far. It's a small sample size early on in the season. Jerry Heater blew the whistle in the baseline. The foul coming up.
But that's what happens when you don't have a guy who you can throw the ball to in the low post with confidence. It allows the other team to really zero in on their perimeter players and stay at home on people.
So Gibson comes in for Dewana. That last foul was on Morcell, who will come out of the ball game and be replaced by Smith. So a couple of changes in the lineup for Kevin Keats. Holding position on the baseline with Smith. That went out of bounds will stay at this end of the floor.
Able to get to the baseline. Good step up and nice cutting off the lane by Smith that time on the baseline. And so far, the referee's letting a lot go on in this game.
Ramey Styons, Jerry Heater, Jamel Spearman in charge of the proceedings this evening from Raleigh, North Carolina, and another miss for the Tigers as Gilliam couldn't get it to fall. Pack quickly up the floor. Smith is open for 3. Attempted save in that corner. That was Gibson. Couldn't keep it alive for that possession for NC State. Texas Southern, the defending champs in the SWAC. They won the tournament last year against Prairie View in Birmingham, Alabama. 80-61 in the title game. Boy, they just can't get anything to fall early going.
You know, and not unusual, too, to play all these road games early on for the SWAC teams. And just there are some opportunities. State has done a nice job on a couple of occasions, but also missed some layups.
And get that one there, and a little runner from Henry. So the Tigers are on the board. You mentioned, Mike, their first 13 games this season on the road. Coach Jones said we had the first 11 scheduled, then the conference schedule came out, and their first 2 are on the road in the SWAC as well, as Gibson will bend the rim.
A nice slip that time. Good 2-man game out front. Yeah, I just get those 11 games and then the first 2 of your conference on the road as well, just piling on.
4 turnovers for the Tigers. And a foul on the play, and there's some activity after the whistle. It's P.J. Henry for the Tigers. He picked up the foul. And so we'll take a timeout. Jalen Gibson with the jam for the Pack with the early 4-point lead. So with the Pack up 6-2 here in the first half, there was some activity after the whistle.
You see the play is over right there, and then you see both Hayes and Henry getting into it, a little shoving. It looked like, it looked like Cam Hayes kind of pushed first, and then they caught the retaliation.
So Jerry Heater is still over at the scorer's table.
Well, they're going to, it's going to be 2 free throws and the possession for NC State on that dead ball technical.
Coach Jones looking for an explanation as well on the Texas Southern side. Offsetting technical fouls, Mike, on Hayes and Henry.
I think that's a good call.
Jerry Heater's coming over to us now to talk to Mike.
Yeah, we just got clarification. That was offsetting technical fouls and just NC State's possession after the play. I think that was a good call. They were shoving on both ends.
So Henry does have 2 personals for Texas Southern. Nowhere to go for Gibson, then he threw it away. Ross is stepping in the passing lane. A little too much heat on that one. NC State gets it back. 5th turnover. Here comes Smith. Contact in midair on the shot attempt. Gilliam was defending for Texas Southern and picks up the personal. That's the first on Gilliam.
And you know, and the thing, talking to Johnny Jones before the game about trying to keep his team together with all these road games, 0-4 to start the season. Smith is a guy that NC State's going to need to provide some offense.
So Hayes just went out of the lineup. Thomas Allen, number 5, is in there now. Those are free throws number 100 and 101 on the season so far for NC State, shooting 76% as a team. And you saw Hayes running down the tunnel there. Keep an eye on that for you, for the Pack, as they made a lineup change. 7-2 lead in the first half. Trying to weave his way to the rim unsuccessfully. Gilliam looking to follow up. Tigers keep the ball. Rosas, he's got it. His first 2 of the game.
Yes, you look at it, and NC State really has made a living at the free throw line early on, plus 30 in their games so far.
They went to the line, Mike, 35 times in the loss Wednesday against Oklahoma State. Pelham's a stop and start. Physical play. Didn't have the touch on that one.
Not nice defense by Rosas, because he's given away some size and strength. Made Pelham settle for a little fall-away jump shot.
That Oklahoma State game, part of the Basketball Hall of Fame showcase at Mohegan Sun Casino in Uncasville, Connecticut. Deep into the shot clock. And they'll beat it with Rosas, who's got 4.
He's given him a lift at both ends of the floor coming in. A couple of 2 straight baskets now, and that nice defensive stop earlier.
Lead down to 1 for the Pack. Helms cranks up another 3. NC State with some early struggles from beyond the arc. Spinning and scoring, you can count it. DJ Henry on the drive. And the Tigers have gone in front. Smith gets the foul.
Yeah, he got Smith to stand up with a little hesitation, dribble that time. And over the last, 3-4 minutes, Tom, that Texas Southern's starting to settle in offensively, looking a little better, especially in transition.
As Henry goes to the free throw line, NC State is 0 for 3 from beyond the arc so far in the first half for Kevin Keats.
And he's a guy, Henry had a good start to the season, only 2 points against Air Force, but averaged 11 in the first 3 games, so he was a double-figure scorer early on.
He is a transfer from Hartford University, and he went to the NCAA tournament with Hartford last year, Mike, their first ever trip to the NCAA tournament. Can't finish off the old school three-point play.
My high school coach, Bob Baroni, went on to coach at Hartford as an assistant coach. A nice lob and finish. And I tell you what, I think looking at them early, Gibson is ahead of Duano offensively. He's a guy that can score inside.
Gibson has only averaged about 3.5 points per game so far and has seen action in every game this season. He's the defensive stopper there in the lane. They have to kick it back out. A couple of players got tangled up in the fouls on Texas Southern and Rosas. That leads us right to the startup presented by your Honda dealers of the Carolinas, and these numbers not good for Kevin Keats in that game against Oklahoma State.
That's that lack of a defensive presence inside, the points in the paint, the fast break points, so that you can, that's a little bit transition. That's on everybody, but those offensive rebounds, this group now really has to rebound as 5 people out on the floor.
NC State bench also got outscored 56-5 in that game against the Cowboys. 74-68 was the final. NC State at one point in that game, Mike, had trailed by 14 in the second half. They cut the lead to 2, 68-66, with 33 seconds left. But Oklahoma State made all 6 of its free throws to end the game and get the victory.
And that just not real good shot selection for Marcel that time. He really covered well, and it was early in the shot clock. Deep 3.
2 of their last 9 shooting for the Pack. In the slim first half lead. Shot clock's at 10 for the Tigers. Nicholas had to kick it back out in the passing lane. Sebron, and he will hammer it.
That was just the first pass to the fast break, and there was nobody guarding Nicholas down low. He should have taken his time and tried to manufacture some sort of offense, but that pass out front, very dangerous.
Sebron coming off a 19.10 rebound performance, led the team in both of those categories in the loss to Oklahoma State. That's a three-pointer, and that's Jones. He's the son of the head coach, and the other head coach, Kevin Keats. Did you see his reaction, Mike, after that 3 to tie the game?
Well, in his last third, reason why is because he was 0 of 14 in the last 3, 0 of 7 from 3. He was wondering if there was a cover on the basket. Wow.
So the Tigers get that 3 from John Jones, the son of the head coach. He'd only made 1 all season, and they do it at the defensive end as well with Jordan Carl Nicholas. ACC College Basketball is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. By Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. We resolve to continue stepping up for you and your family. And by the Fresh Market, voted #1 best supermarket in America. Inside PNC Arena, there's Manny Bates. Unfortunately for NC State, the right shoulder injury on Mike, what looked like the most innocent play as he was going for a loose ball.
Talking to assistant coaches, he said, he's been hit a lot harder in practice, and but it's game. A lot of things happen in game situations, and innocent things tend to be a lot worse than they appear. But just hate for the young man who's worked so hard this summer, have his season over in 57 seconds.
Yeah, that was November 9th, first game of the year against Bucknell. The right shoulder is the problem. He had surgeries on his left shoulder that forced him to lose a couple of years. There's Dewana coming in. On the run, on the move, it spins off for Allen. NC State thought it had the ball back, but a foul is coming up on the Pack.
Trying to call on Dewana, trying to get that loose ball on the rebound.
Yeah, Bates was the leading shot blocker the last 2 seasons in the ACC. As his teammate Jericho Helms comes in for Allen. Bates, 147 career blocks, 4th in school history, and all those numbers sitting on the bench all season for the Wolfpack. Big hurdle to overcome, protecting that rim this season. Chance for other players to step up, though, Mike, right?
Yeah, and that's, we talked about replacing players. Nice defense on the post that time by Cam Hayes. That, every year that Kevin Keats has been there, he's had to replace the leading scorer from the year before.
Devin Daniels a season ago told you about his knee injury midway through the year, took him out of the picture. Trying to beat that shot clock. Sebron goes up for the board. Leading rebounder so far for this team, over 10 per game. He's looking for an assist here. He won't get it, but a whistle keeps us at this end of the floor. That looks like John Walker, 24 in maroon, picking up the foul, and it is his first.
Right now, NC State trying to force the action a little bit from 3, Tom. They're 0 of 6 so far. Need to try to explore some things off the drive.
They struggled from 3-point range against Oklahoma State as well on Wednesday, just 25%, 5 of 20. So Helms tries an interior route, pays the price, but may earn free throws.
And that's, again, you're not you're not shooting the ball well, get to the free throw line, especially Helms, 16 to 17, 94% on the year.
Almost 13 points per game a season ago for Helms. That led the team. That's a rarity. You don't see him miss free throws early on this season. Mike, he'd been 16 of 17 and 94%. He does give him the lead with the second free throw. His percentage 4th in the conference. Yes, it's early. There are some guys who haven't missed so far and qualify for that statistic. If he can keep 94% up for the rest of the season, that will help.
In-game situations, huge factor.
Inside of 9.5 minutes to go in the first half. Short range, it bounces out.
And that's offensive goal or defensive goaltending.
Looked like the iron was unkind there, Mike.
I'm having flashbacks. Mr. Brando. Yeah, actually, somebody grabbed the net while the ball was still up on the rim. You'll see it right here. It's kind of bouncing around. It was looked like their own player.
Sebron dribbling clinic. Got to the rim.
Not a three-point threat, but in the half court, very effective off the dribble, getting into the paint.
Kevin Keats told us in our meeting prior to the game. That'll be a foul against the Tigers. Sebron last year would try to get all kinds of creative and dipsy-do around the rim. Forget that noise. Invite the contact, score, and get to the line.
And it's really been work in the weight room that's been a part of that. He would normally last year shied away from contact right there. Now he's aggressive, going right to the body of the defender.
24 points on Tuesday against Central Connecticut to establish a career high. Helms at the free throw line. That's more like it. You always like to break down the shooting form, Mike. What do you think of Helms?
But he's got a little interesting, you know, in his routine before he goes to the shot, kind of touches himself a couple of times right before release. But, you know, whatever works for you, it's all about the routine that you develop. You can see right there.
He's doing the little hitch.
Yeah.
Jeff Hornacek tribute. That's 5 points now for Helms, and again, those points.
But you know what? He could be 19 of 20 in this game, and he'll be upset with himself about the miss.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you get up to that percentage, those things bother you.
He didn't miss against the Cowboys. He was 10 for 10 in 36 minutes. He did miss from beyond the arc, though, just 3 of 11 for Helms in three-point shooting. But everybody struggled in that one. Shot clock is at 6. That bounces out for Lawson. Pack looking to run again. Sebron shaking his man off the glass and earning free throws. He is looking to score, Mike.
He can go left, but he'll try to finish right and drawing the contact. And this is the thing. There's really no rim protector out there for Texas Southern. So you can, if you start running downhill, you can make something happen at the rim.
Creative on the dribble and earning free throws. 77% in the early going for Sebron at the free throw line, the redshirt sophomore. Substitution for the Tigers. Gresham comes in. That'll be Nicholas leading the ball game. First ever meeting between the programs. NC State 8-0 all time against current members from the SWAC.
Texas Southern picked to win their league again this year. That's very highly, you know, in those conferences it comes down to the tournament at the end of the year.
Hey, they won an NCAA tournament game last year, Mike, in the first 4 against Mount St. Mary's, 60-52, but lost to Michigan in the first round, the official first round of the tournament after the first 4. Fight at the rim. Won by the Pack. I'll tell you, Rosas did everything but score. Put a great move on at the other end. It's a 3 out of the corner. Smith has it for the Pack.
I'll tell you what.
Run.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Tom. Their best move of coming out of the backcourt, maybe Sebron, when he gets it, he is very quick with the basketball, and he makes good decisions.
First made 3 of the game for NC State. 7.5 minutes to go in our first half. Tom Wormy, along with the All-American Mike Jaminski and our outstanding ACC College Hoops production crew with you from Raleigh, North Carolina. And a couple of players got tangled up on the inside. We'll sort it out when we come back to PNC Arena, home of the Wolfpack and ACC basketball. Time for our Hardy's Star to Watch. And he's wearing a Pack uniform. Number 1, Darian Sebron.
He's got off to a quick start, too. So 7 points for him, 4 rebounds, and a couple of assists. Talked about his ability in the open floor, but he really is good with the basketball.
Top of the scouting chart for NC State.
Moving up quickly.
3 of 4 from the floor for Sebron. Still looking for his first 3 of the season, Mike. That's about the only thing he hasn't done. 0 for 5 coming into the ball game from beyond the arc. 22 feet 1 and 3/4 inches away. It's seared on my brain, G-Man. Working inside the arc. A 3rd chance, perhaps, for Texas Southern. It won't go for Rosas. Here's a 4th chance and a foul called. A couple of free throws coming up as Bryson Gresham was fighting inside with the Wolfpack.
I submit for lack of effort, and Texas Southern was battling in this game, and 4 attempts, and they finally get to the free throw line.
They haven't made a field goal since the 11-18 mark of this half. That foul was on Dewana, his 2nd foul.
And Gresham with some big-time experience with him in the Final Four with Houston last year.
Lost to Baylor in the national semifinals, the eventual national champ. 78-59 for Houston. Not a lot of experience from the line so far this season, but he's got a couple. And now 4 for 6 on the year. Dewana out of the lineup with 2 personal fouls. NC State by 7. And 7 minutes to go. Helms trying to work off of that Gibson screen. Has to regroup, steps inside the line.
Yeah, in that possession, there was nobody in the paint area. Gibson more or less just a screener outside.
Trying to snap an 0 for 10 shooting slump for the Tigers, and it ends there. Justin Hopkins with a 3.
And this is, we talked about it, not a lot of threes coming into the game, but they've got some good looks off of dribble penetration.
Traveling on Helms. Just the 2nd back turnover.
There's a look, see the spacing, and they talked about trying to be a little bit more protective of the driving gaps, and Helms getting pulled in that time, and you get a good look at the 3.
2 for 4 in the game for Texas Southern from 3-point real estate.
You see, that's again, Tom, you take a look at their replay, and that's the lack of having a shot blocker in there, that you've got to be a little bit more honest and take care of things out on the perimeter, pay more attention to drivers out front.
Both teams in the bonus. Tigers to the line with P.J. Henry. Good work on the glass. Gibson got a piece of it, it looked like. It's going to be against Texas Southern. Gresham picked up his first. That means that NC State will step to the line at the other end of the court. Great to be courtside at PNC Arena, 22nd year. Building opened up in 1999 with Helms at the line. I'll let you know that Tuesday on most of these same regional sports networks, more ACC basketball. UNC Asheville against number 18 North Carolina. Although that might change, a couple of recent stumbles for the Tar Heels. That included today against Tennessee.
Yeah, and their old nemesis Rick Barnes back to doing a nice job with the Volunteers.
Also a loss against Purdue, which ended up beating Villanova in a top 6 matchup today also. It's early yet in the season. Such a different landscape, too, with transfer portal, additional year from last season, with the COVID protocols and guidelines. I love being in the building, Mike, but
yeah, no, and
courtside is better.
And you look at teams, and you know, even for the Power 5 conferences, they were, you know, teams looking to fill holes, taking grad transfers, and it's going to take time for them to gel as well. And they're just not getting freshmen indoctrinated.
Morcell back into the ballgame for NC State. He is yet to score.
And that's another thing. And so it's kind of foreign to me. But, you know, transfer is one thing, but transfers in the conference now, you know, commonplace as well.
And playing right away.
Yeah, coming from Virginia.
Absolutely. Morcell played 2 seasons for Tony Bennett and the Cavaliers. There's a steal. Etienne goes in for the jam for Texas Southern.
Nice anticipation on that play. Good quick hands and a nice finish.
We've got a 2-point game inside of 5.5 minutes to go in our first half. Tigers and the Wolfpack. Helms got it back, and he hits. That one's all net for Helms.
Little 2-man game, and Helms, he could have rolled to the basket that time, but flared out. Nice open look.
10 points now for Helms, who had 15 in the second half, and a total of 18 against Oklahoma State in the most recent game. Going through the lane and contact Etienne, who just had the jam a moment ago. Helms picked up the foul. He's first. Bryson Etienne to the free throw line, the senior from Houston, Texas. That is where Texas Southern is located. First free throw of the season, Etienne. Missed all of last season with an injury. Out of the SWAC. Pretty good the last 8 years. They won that tournament 9 times in their history, and they've piled up over 150 wins over the last decade plus.
Johnny Jones saw a lot of success at LSU as an assistant to start with Dale Brown. Final Four in '81.
Johnny Jones played at LSU as well and was part of a Final Four team as a player.
Yeah.
That back in 1981. That's collected by Allen. An NCAA tournament and NIT appearance in 5 years as the LSU head coach. Won 90 games. DeRidder, Louisiana. Assistant, head coach, player. Taking over from Mike Davis, who went to a Final Four with Indiana here at Texas Southern. That win they had in the NCAA tournament, just the second in school history, Mike, last year. So Johnny Jones done a tremendous job.
Well, and just, you know, so much to navigate last year. And NC State, I mean, after that injury to Daniels, they thought, you know, that was really the end of the year. And the pack came together and played very well.
On the run and laying it over the front rim, Rosas.
Etienne doing a nice job looking ahead that time. He's been a little spark offensively.
Helms misfires. Sebron had it stripped away. Quick hands of Etienne. So the Tigers running and hanging tough. We got a 1-point game late in our first half from Raleigh. Pack with a 1-point lead despite shooting just 2 of 11 from 3-point distance. While we have a second, let's get a message from Works Nitro.
Meet Works Nitro. Powerful tools for any project with gas-like power without the gas. Fueled by PowerShare batteries to give you the power to outperform.
NC State had gone on a 9-0 run, but Texas Southern coming back with a 13-5 run of its own to cut the lead to just 1. It's been as large as 9 in this first half for NC State.
I think relying a lot or too much on the three-point shot. Just 2 of 11 so far in the game.
Helms double team knocked away. Here comes Etienne. He's provided a spark coming into the game off the bench. Tried to go up and under. Pack was waiting for him.
This is the thing. It's already 11 offensive rebounds in the game, and we talked about NC State wanting to concentrate on the defensive glass. And Texas Southern hasn't converted a ton of those, but still has established themselves. The other one.
Yeah, gave up 16 offensive rebounds against the Cowboys, and that one by Gresham to put it back up and in. He's got 6 points. Texas Southern has the lead, and now they've got the ball on the steal by Henry. Etienne around his defender. Helms got back defensively. Foul against the Tigers. There'll be shots for NC State. Hopkins picked up his first. So far, NC State is 7 of 10 from the free throw line.
They got into the bonus early on in this half, too, at about the 10-minute mark.
Thomas Allen, first free throw of the season for the redshirt senior. Instruction for Casey Morcell on that bench.
Originally signed here and then left when Kevin Keats was hired and came back.
2 years at Nebraska for Thomas Allen. They're unsuccessful on the free throw attempts. 1-point game. Tigers in front of the Pack. 2.5 minutes to go in the first half. Little stumble. Fight for the loose ball.
Terrific on-ball defense that time. Nice job by Pass. Just him and, you know, the switch off right there and a little stumble.
Breon Pass, the freshman from Reidsville, North Carolina. Seeing action in his 4th game this season. On the handle for the Pack. Sebron. Haven't called his name a whole lot in the last few minutes.
No, he needs to, I think, get a little bit more aggressive offensively. Helms has been taking a lot of shots.
They flip it back to Sebron. Shot clock at 6, driving down the lane.
Offensive foul.
And that was deflected by Gresham as well. That's the first on Sebron.
Here you see, good job of getting outside that block charge line. Solid defense.
.203 to go in our first half. Texas Southern, despite shooting just 27%, has the 1-point lead. 31% for the Pack in this first half.
And only 6 turnovers, too, for Texas Southern. The Pack's only scored 2 points off their defense.
Stepping back, that's inside the line. Miss on the shot by Jones, who had a 3 earlier in the game. Hopkins picked up his 2nd foul for the Tigers. Back to the free throw line for the Wolfpack.
And this is the thing, too. If you're Texas Southern, you want to be giving up those cheap points like that. You know, they're in the bonus. They're going to get to the free throw line. A chance maybe in this minute 45 for NC State to get a lead going in at halftime. They'd let Texas Southern hang around.
First free throws for Pass.
Didn't play against Oklahoma State, but getting some court time here early.
Last field goal for the Wolfpack at the 5:09 mark. So pass.
I think early in this game, first 10 minutes, first 12 minutes, the Wolfpack got out and ran, got some offense in the open floor. That hasn't been there for them at the end of the first half.
I saved this information for after the free throw by pass. He's 4 for 4 from the line so far this season. So pass, he's shooting well from the free throw line.
You were just sitting on that one, weren't you?
I don't want to be responsible. I want to be forgotten. I don't want to be remembered. Be a touch foul. Randy Steinon's right on the call, and that's against pass. So P.J. Henry at the free throw line.
But, we talked about their schedule, and, it's one thing to play away games, but, I mean, they've been all across the country.
Yes.
And back. I mean, it's just not traveling in the state of Texas and playing away games.
The next game is Wednesday at BYU. Their first SWAC game is January 3rd. It's on the road at Southern. Gresham was able to run it down. Jones, not bashful. Fight for the loose ball into the corner, into the front row, and that'll be NC State basketball.
Like I said, it hasn't really hurt them, but still, Texas Southern has established themselves on the offensive glass and got to block out as a unit.
Pack Glass had a victory last Tuesday against Central Connecticut at home, 79-65.
They're doing a nice job of getting Helms a clear out. He's had that whole side to work out, but that was really nice defense, drawing the offensive foul.
Game against Central Connecticut was also part of the Basketball Hall of Fame showcase that in Connecticut. These multi-team events to get the season going. Good experience for all those teams to get multiple games.
And, one thing for the Wolfpack, too, they've got 5 guys with 2 personal fouls so far in the game.
Coming up in about a minute and 2 seconds, the Toyota halftime report will check in and around the league, see what's going on in the ACC. On a Sunday evening, hanging out with the G-Man and you from Raleigh, North Carolina for ACC basketball. That's a 3-ball. From number 3, P.J. Henry right in front of the NC State bench. Look at the score, G-Man.
Yeah, and Gilliam at 6'6", really a nice job. He can get up and find people up in the air.
3 of 6 from long distance in the first half. Texas Southern, and 31 seconds to go. Allen over the top. Gibson preserving the possession. Flips it back out. Pass was holding the finish, and 2 players hit the court hard.
It's going to be a foul on the play, and Sebron, I think, and he's laying down on the floor. He's not getting up quickly. See the action inside. He's trying to get that position, and just Gilliam had his arm hooked around him and pulled him down.
Second personal on Gilliam. So now Sebron trying to shake off the after effects of that play. Has a chance to tie the game from the free throw line with 22.5 seconds to go in our first half. 1 of 2 from the line in the first half so far. Sebron.
That's the thing. I mean, even not being aggressive, not hunting his offense, not missing the first free throw, but sitting here 7 chance to get 8 points on the board.
Sebron is 3 of 6 from the floor in the first half, but he's misfired on both of his 3-point attempts. So he's missed all 7 of his attempts so far from beyond the arc this season. Does get 1 of those free throws. 1-point game. Tigers want to take a timeout. We will take it with them. Back to Raleigh in just a moment for more ACC basketball.
CMAX presents The Cycle of Savings. It all starts with a proprietary formula that is scientifically proven to soak into engine metal and reduce carbon buildup, increasing fuel mileage, extending engine life, and saving you money with every mile. So that cycle of savings we talked about really adds up over a lifetime. Subscribe. Save. Z-Max. Buy or subscribe today at zmax.com. Pour, save, repeat.
NC State led by as many as 9 in this first half, trailing by 1. Tigers' largest lead was 2 just a moment ago. They've got the basketball after calling timeout with 18.3 seconds on the clock. P.J. Henry. Guarded by pass. Looking for that final shot off the screen. Henry knifing his way, flips it up and in. Right at the end of the clock, Sebron heaves it midcourt. And so Texas Southern and the drive by P.J. Henry going to the locker room with the lead. Shooting 30% in the first half, that's enough. And their largest lead of the ball game, 31-28. Sebron and Helms, the leading scorers for NC State. Halftime, straight ahead. Welcome to the halftime report presented by your local Toyota dealers. 31-28. A 20-8 run to close out the first half by the visiting Tigers against the Wolfpack. There are 6 other games on the schedule on this Sunday, Mike Duminski.
North Carolina losing for the second time. Virginia Tech easily over Merrimack the game before this one. And Clemson looking to bounce back after a loss to St. Bonaventure.
Yep, Florida State also trying to shake off a recent loss against Florida as well. And Mike, you got to look at Virginia recently as well. And Tony Bennett's team, an early loss against Navy.
Yeah, they lost a ton of offense from last year. So again, but Tony Bennett teams are always better in March than they are in November, December, and they'll get better. But I just don't know that there's a real dominant team in the country this year. And you can't, you look at Duke and how they're playing early on, but they're about to face some really stiff competition as well.
Yeah, teams are going to get better and improve as the season goes along. NC State needs to get better. They didn't make a field goal in the last 5 minutes of that first half. Halftime continues in just a moment. 31-28. Tigers have the lead. The Toyota halftime report continues from Raleigh. 31-28. The visiting Tigers with the lead against the NC State Wolfpack. NC State built a 9-point lead, but the Tigers coming back on 3 of 6 from beyond the arc and struggles from 3-point distance for the Pack, Mike.
Yeah, and also you look at Texas Southern. They missed 26 shots, but they all got offensive rebounds on half of those. And they didn't convert on a lot of them, but you don't want that trend to continue, and this has just got to be a better team rebounding.
They are crashing the boards. NC State was running and getting productivity from it in the first half early.
Well, and that was early, and then things dried up. They got some things with far too little points off of turnovers, and Texas Southern playing with 6 in that first half, and you can just see them relentless on the glass. And this is just getting bodies on people and playing pretty good in the half court as well. I think that Texas Southern really settled in that last 10 minutes of the second half. Defensively played better. Only 8 made field goals for NC State in the first half, and they missed a few free throws.
Yeah, some inspired play from Johnny Jones' team. If you're NC State, Helms got the double digits with 10. Sebron had 8, but you've got to make some tweaks coming out in the second half.
And I think, too, you've got to defend better without fouling, which they had guys, 5 different guys with 2 fouls in that first half, got in to put Texas Southern at the free throw line. So they need to get into the open floor and really initial defense good, but seal off the defensive glass.
And keep getting to the free throw line if the NC State Wolfpack. It is a tight game at halftime on the Toyota halftime report. 31-28 is the lead for the Tigers and the Wolfpack. You are watching ACC basketball. Welcome back to the Halftime Report, presented by your local Toyota dealers. Don't forget, coming up on Tuesday, 7 Eastern, check your local listings for UNC Asheville out of the Big South against the North Carolina Tar Heels, trying to stop their recent 2-game slide. They're 3-2 so far on the season, and we'll have that for you 7 Eastern on Tuesday. This has been your Halftime Report, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. ACC College Basketball is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. By CPI Security, CPI home security that protects what matters most. And by the Works Nitro. The Works Nitro, available at worksnitro.com. Wolfpack trailing in the half. We're just moments away from the start of the second half. What they've done this season, Mike, and what they've done tonight, Helms, the only player to get to double digits in the first half for NC State.
Yeah, they've had very balanced scoring up to this point, up to this game, so they need a couple guys to step up. The other thing, too, a little scary, Texas Southern, their big scorer, John Walker III, 2 early fouls, has not scored in this game.
NC State 29% as a team from the floor and trailing 31-28. When we come back, it's the second half from Raleigh.
ACC Hoops. It all tips off Friday on Bally Sports South and on the Bally Sports app.
November Uncommon is stuffed with science fiction. Who needs turkey? We've got crows. So stuffed. Too stuffed? Never.
Boom, boom.
Get stuffed all month long on Comet.
Saturday, it's an ACC college football showdown.
He's got world-class speed.
ACC football, Saturday on Bally Sports South and on the Bally Sports app.
If the Wolfpack is going to get its 4th win of the season, it will be from come-from-behind fashion, despite leading by 9 in the first half. Trailing as we get set to start the second half. Tom Wormy, along with the All-American from Duke, Mike Jaminski, and our outstanding production crew with you from PNC Arena, Raleigh, North Carolina, and home of the Wolfpack, who went 14-11 last season.
I think early on, Tom, I'd like to see NC State be aggressive, try to attack the lane, get to the rim, try to get some easy baskets, get to the free throw line. The three-point shot has not been there for them so far. So build your offense inside out.
10 of 16 from the free throw line in the first half for NC State. If you're Johnny Jones across the way, your players decided to crash the glass and provide second and third opportunities. Got to feel pretty confident. And as you mentioned, Mike, their top scorer, John Walker III, who averages close to 15 points per game.
3 so far in the game. Really not a factor at all in the first 20 minutes.
He's a transfer from Texas A&M. All conference in the SWAC last season. And he scored in double figures 3 times this year, as the Tigers try to chase down their first win. They are 0-4 and 0-4 away from Houston. They'll be away from Houston for quite some time.
Until the new calendar year.
First 13 games on the road. Cranking up the second half with the G-Man. Here we go. Double teamed immediately for Walker. Has to get rid of it. The safety valve. Shot clock's at 7. Tigers trying to back it down, and they do it with Nicholas.
Again, nice job taking your time inside. Now they came down and doubled on Walker, but Nicholas had a couple of dribbles. Nice finish with his left hand.
Largest lead of the game is now 5. This is Hayes, long distance. A long rebound. One Tiger went sprawling. That was Nicholas. Foul against NC State, and the third on Helms.
See, that was a case of settling for that jump shot early in the shot clock. Not a lot of movement. You're not shooting the ball well from the perimeter.
Just 2 of 14 on 3-point attempts. Henry was driving and lost the handle. And then contact with Hayes. So P.J. Henry has his third personal.
When early in the game, Henry and Hayes had a little dust up. They had offsetting technicals, dead ball technicals early in the half.
Johnny Jones with some words of wisdom for P.J. Hayes, the junior from Houston, Texas. Keep in mind that NC State has had great success at home against non-conference opponents. Sebron with the drive. Hopkins picking up his third personal. Getting to the line. One of the ingredients for NC State in the first half and probably in the second half too. To get back into this one is the Tigers had their largest lead early second half, and here's Sebron. Dewana handoff. Shot clock winding down, not a problem for Hayes.
Good strong finish that time, going right into the body.
First bucket for Hayes in the game, the sophomore from Greensboro, North Carolina. Walker on the block.
Got the switch. He's taller than Hayes. Got him and got him on his back down on the low post.
First basket for John Walker III, senior from Houston, Texas. Calculating the angle off the glass for Cam Hayes the last couple buckets.
Yeah, and he's looked very strong too. Good solid base. Nice finish on both shots.
Too strong. Dewana, the clearance. Cam Hayes is on a mini run of his own. Morcell, hesitation, an explosion to the rim.
Just wide open, everybody out on the perimeter, no help side defense, and that's a good read. Again, that's an example of not settling for the jump shot and getting something inside.
J.C. Morcell into the box score, points-wise. That over Dewana. And high-arcing shot by Walker.
And they've looked to get their leading scorer in some rhythm here early in the second half.
Walker's got 4 now. Average is close to 15 per game. That's following the Tigers.
That's the third,
yeah,
on Walker. You see what Johnny Jones kind of rolls the dice right here and leaves him in. If he does, that's a guy you can attack if you're NC State. Make him defend, pick up that fourth foul.
Henry, Hopkins, and Walker all with 3 personals. Holding that finish and the 3 from Sebron.
First of the year.
11 points.
Well, I tell you what, he is really going to be a dangerous offensive player if he can add that to his arsenal.
Ties the game at 37. Dewana was defending, may have picked up the personal foul on the move by Nicholas, and that is the 3rd on Dewana.
Yeah, it's just going to be a work in progress with these young guys inside.
Six of 11 as a team from the line for Texas Southern.
And Dewana, he played 48 minutes. There's Bates sitting on. That's what he's going to be doing most of the year. Really, heart goes out to him. Like I said, I don't root for teams, but I root against injuries. But for Dewana, 48 minutes total last year. So not a lot of time to grow there.
Manny Bates out with a right shoulder injury. Rim protector extraordinaire, leading the league the last 2 years in blocked shots. Looked like Morcell wanted a foul as he went up to Ramey Styons with the request. Denied.
You're not going to win that battle running back on defense.
P.J. Henry on the dribble. And now Walker. Trying to get around Hayes. Rolls off the rim. And that foul is against the Tigers. Looked like Nicholas coming over the top. His third personal foul. Let's take a timeout in a one-point game in the second half. First ever meeting, Tigers and Wolfpack. 11 points for Sebron. He's in the double digits along with Helms. How about that? 25 straight non-conference opponents at home. With the headline, that very first game, Manny Bates. Such an innocent play, going for a loose ball, Mike, and just hit it the wrong way.
And he had issues with his left shoulder.
Yes.
And, thought he had all that stuff behind him, and then it was the right shoulder this year.
Missed his senior year in high school and first year here at NC State because of the left shoulder. Helms on the move. Foul on Walker, and that's his fourth, and that's exactly what you said, Mike. Attack Walker.
Yeah, and they gave Helms a clear out on the left side too, and rather than bail him out with a jump shot again, you put pressure on him to defend, and it's a big foul because it looked like Walker had gotten a little bit of rhythm offensively.
Yeah, Walker had scored 4 points here in this second half. Stay tuned for the fast break presented by your local Ford dealer. It's coming up. Helms driving, tough shot. Tawana tried to follow over the top. And the box out was there from Rosses. And now that's a fourth on Helms.
And so right back at NC State, so they lose one of their primary scorers as well, the foul trouble. We touched on that there were a lot of guys with 2 personal fouls for NC State after the first half.
So Helms leads the game with 10 points, but he hasn't scored in the second half, and now he's being assessed a technical foul. Well, he had picked up his 4th personal.
Well, I think what Helms, he was upset that he didn't get the call on that last drive. But, you can't get into it with the referees at this point. You got to concentrate on making baskets.
So the technical counts as a personal as well, Mike. So he is disqualified. That's 5.
And, yeah, they just put that up. And this is, again, you're compounding things. Get the foul right there, he's upset, and then you take yourself out with 2 fouls on that play. And for your lone senior, you've got to have better presence than that.
So a little bit frustrated, it boils over. And the technical counting against Helms' record as his 5th personal. So he will remain on that bench. Enormous loss for the Pack. 8th turnover of the game for Texas Southern.
But, coming into this game, Tom, Helms in the 4 games coming in has had 17 personal fouls, far and away the most for the Wolfpack. That's a number that's got to come down. They need him on the court.
Scored 22 points against Bucknell to start the season. 18 in the loss to Oklahoma State. Sebron can't score on the drive.
That's going to put a lot of pressure on Sebron to start manufacturing some offense.
Gilliam trying to get out of trouble. That one knocked away. NC State ball.
I'm going to say it's off the Tigers.
You are right, G-Man. How about Hayes as well? Now maybe he may look to score even more than he has been.
He's been physically inside. Doing a nice job overpowering their guards.
4 points for Hayes coming in the second half. Smith misses.
Just a wild jump shot, and that's a freshman bad judgment.
That'll drop. Nicholas on the drive and foul. He's up to 5 points and going to the line.
I just split two guys and great finish, great concentration.
Fourth on Dewana. So right away, Gibson coming to the scorer's table and into the game.
You know, again, it's only been a few games, but, you know, is this shaping up where Gibson is the guy offensively that you're going to look to from that, you know, from the two of them? Because they're going to have to really come together and try to manufacture things on both ends of the floor. Dewana may be your best defensive and rebounding option.
Great sell, yeah, gliding to the rim. Back needing that basket. He's got 4 now after the layup.
And no recognition defensively on him for Texas Southern.
Gilliam. Off the back iron. Outlet up to Smith. 3-on-1. Up top, Sebron. Body control and the lay-in.
And those are the baskets they weren't getting late in that first half. And also better job on the defensive glass on the miss for NC State.
Tied at 41. Deep into the shot clock for the Tigers. It's down to 6. Lawson. He traveled back to NC State.
There's the look, the good trigger ahead, and nice pass. Nobody back defensively. Sebron, you don't worry about throwing him a lob. He can go up and get anything.
Acceleration from Hayes. He'll go to the free throw line. Fouled on the drive. It's on Gilliam in his 3rd.
And he started coming alive. He's averaged double figures, 12 points over his last 3, so he's starting to look for his offense a little bit more.
First free throws for Hayes. He's been good from the line. 11 of 13 so far this season. First lead for NC State since 1:40 left in the first half when they led 27-26. And they've made this little mini comeback, G-Man, despite the miss by Hayes. I was just going to say, without Helms in there, because he picked up the technical, which counted as a personal as well, and fouled him out just a few minutes ago. Hopkins lost the handle on the way up. Pack wants to run. Layup is good, Cam Hayes.
And NC State's just been running downhill in the last 4 minutes of this game. And Johnny Jones wants a timeout to talk about things.
Cam Hayes with 7 points. The Wolfpack on a 7-0 run and up 44-41 with 12.5 minutes to go in our second half. Here comes the Pack. Tigers take a timeout. .44-41, the Wolfpack. In the absence of Jericho Helms coming back to take the lead. Second half, NC State 54% from the floor. Walker, the leading scorer for the season for Texas Southern, is on the bench. He's got 4 personal fouls.
You look at Sebron and really, asserting himself. Leads the team in scoring, rebounding, and assists here so far.
Sebron, who averaged just over 5 points per game a season ago.
Let's see how Texas Southern responds to this run.
That was blocked inside. Gibson might have got a piece of that one. Morcell fighting on the glass, and he comes out with that rebound. Morcell is a nice addition to this NC State rotation from Virginia. Sebron unselfishly to the corner, and Smith for three.
Really nice foul, and you talked about Morcell that, it seemed to be a much better fit in this up-tempo offense. A 10-0 run by the Wolfpack.
Miscommunication on the pass. It'll bounce out of bounds on the baseline. And when we come back with 11.5 minutes to go, the NC State Wolfpack will have the ball. They've got the lead against the Tigers. NC State trailed at halftime, but they have retaken the lead. Strong play from Cam Hayes.
And we touched about when he fouled out of the game and with the technical foul with Helms, they had to have other people step up. Cam Hayes has been very aggressive attacking the basket, not only in the open floor, but in half court as well. Nice pull-up jump shot there.
Hayes able to hit the angle, and Morcell as well. Didn't score in the first half, been much more of a factor here in the second half. Here's our player comparison, Mike, presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
Nice combination there. Morcell, look at very solid double-figure score, both of them this year.
All of those points on your screen scored in the second half by those players on that side-by-side comparison. Part of the reason that NC State has taken the 47-41 lead. Texas Southern, no field goals since taking the lead 41-37 at the 14-17 mark. They were up 41-37. Pack hoisting another shot from the corner. That was Smith. And then Gibson got it.
And he's going to get a hook on that play. Good call inside.
First foul on Gibson. Texas Southern does not have a double-digit scorer yet, although they spread it all over the box score. P.J. Henry has been shut down in the second half. Guarded closely by Sebron.
This possession going nowhere for Texas Southern right now.
Drive, off the glass, miss. Etienne, follow, not there. Gresham goes to the floor with Morcell.
There's a look, and that's the thing too, that we talked about offensive rebounding in the first half. Texas Southern were 13, only 1 in the second half.
Arrow was favoring the NC State Wolfpack. They've got the ball as Smith walks it up. Terquavion Smith, the freshman from Greenville, North Carolina. Morcell drew 3 defenders.
Yeah, they're really helping off of Gibson too on drivers out on the perimeter.
Sebron, isolation, the kick, Morcell. Gibson couldn't get to it. Etienne fires it across. Hopkins. Gresham in tight quarters. That's against the Tigers. Rosas.
Yeah, just a little better intensity on the defensive end by NC State that time. Forced a tough shot.
Texas Southern 0 of its last 7 field goal attempts, and that sends Sebron to the free throw line with both teams in the bonus. Two of 5 now from the stripe for Darion Sebron, redshirt sophomore, Norfolk, Virginia. Turnover. 3-on-2 pack. Smith. Scrap for the loose ball. That was Allen who went to the floor.
He did everything on that play. A good defensive play down the other end. A nice assist. And a miss coming up with the offensive rebound. That's the look. Good handle right there. Good find. And, we talked about the 3. The NC State's been getting some pretty good looks from 3.
However, they are 4 of 20 for the game. Smith does have one of those threes.
Look how far out Texas Southern having to run their offense to start.
Etienne, three-pointer. 7 points for Etienne.
Maybe in that stretch, in a missed opportunity for the Wolfpack to stretch out a lead. Texas Southern hanging around.
First three of the season for Bryson Etienne. Picked a good time as a senior. Sent that three ball to the bottom of the net and then committed the foul at the other end. Just his first. Got to give the Tigers a lot of credit coming here to Raleigh. Their long road trip will continue.
But I just wonder mentally if this team is just seasoned to being on the road. You know, listen, fellas, we're not going to be at home for a while, a couple months.
58% as a team from the free throw line. That will improve thanks to Morcell.
And it's the first time the one-on-one that missed that front end.
68% of the season from the line for Morcell, the junior from Fort Washington, Maryland. 6'3" and a sturdy 200 pounds at the free throw line. He's got 6 points after scoring 8 and getting 7 rebounds in 29 minutes against Oklahoma State. In that most recent game and loss for NC State, its first of the season. Gresham. Etienne. Rosas. Henry.
Terrific find. Everybody got scattered on the offensive rebound. Something that NC State had limited up to this point. Good open look at the three. And you see that a lot in an offensive rebound. Defense gets scattered.
First points of the second half for Henry, and a three-pointer gives him 10 for the game and closes the gap to 2. Shot clock goes inside of 10 for Hayes. Morcell wanted it, didn't get it. Smith tried to keep it alive. It was Gresham to hang on to it. 10 rebounds for Gresham. "25 straight wins at home against non-conference opponents for the Wolfpack." This one could go right down to the wire. Hopkins, long, angular rebound. Here comes Hayes. Hayes, who averages double digits so far this season, just over 11 points per game. A whistle on the baseline and a timeout. PNC Arena. And the folks who've come inside seeing a competitive game. Also, those of you watching at home, 2-point lead for the Pack. About 5 minutes into this half, Jericho Helms on the drive thought he was fouled. Already had 4 personals, had committed that foul right there at the end of the play, and then got a technical foul, Mike, accounting for his 5th personal, so he was disqualified from the game. Texas Southern had a 38-37 lead. The 10 points all in the first half from Helms.
You know, you have to know your situation. And 4-year senior, all right, you don't get the call, play on. Go down the other end next play. Then he gets a cheap foul to pick up his 4th and then gets himself out of the game with chirping at the referee.
His teammates, though, have responded. It's 14 points now for Sebron at the free throw line. And a 3-point lead, led by as many as 9 in the first half.
Who's going to step up and be that other double-figure scorer and still leaving some points at the free throw line?
NC State's led by as many as 6 in the second half. They lead by 3, 50-47, as we cross the 7-minute threshold of our second half. Miss from Nicholas. Sebron, 1-on-4, makes a wise decision. Sebron is 5 of 9 from the floor. That includes a three-pointer.
Trying to build on that make in the second half. But the thing is, like when they run pick and roll with their bigs, nobody's paying attention to them. They're staying with shooters and they're getting tough shots.
Knocked away. And taken by Allen up ahead. It's Sebron.
And that's what they need to do. Put the pressure on. You can see setting up the defense a little bit sooner.
He's got 16 points to lead all scorers. Henry is the only double-digit scorer with 10 for Texas Southern as he gives it up to Etienne. Nicholas in the paint against Awana. The ball was rebounded by Rosas, who hit the floor hard and awkwardly.
Got his feet taken out and underneath. That's a bad feeling. 3 feet, 4 feet above the floor. And they're trying, Duana's got 4 personal fouls as well. They're trying to go right at him, and they'll be effective in the low post.
Sebron picked up his second personal on the play. Rosas, first free throw attempts of the game. And there'll only be one attempt for Rosas, who was 2 for 2 from the line prior to that. Sebron gliding to the rim.
And we've seen that a few times in this game where they've Texas Southern not stopping the dribble drive. It's the easiest basket you're going to get on transition.
18 for Sebron. Nicholas put it on the floor. Second attempt knocked away. Potential 3-on-1. Morcell 1-on-1. The foul is called. Etienne got back defensively. Morcell in the photographer's row appears to be okay and helped up by his teammates. Etienne picks up his second personal.
Very explosive. We talked about the strength and coming right into your living room.
Six points of the game for Morcell. It's about as quiet as the building has been all night. A little too quiet. Walker's coming back in with his 4 personals, Mike.
I always liked a little bit of noise at the free throw line. Like you're lining up a putt.
You got to have a buffer. Morcell at the free throw line.
Lots of buffers.
He had 22 points, Mike, a career high against Colgate when he went 6 of 9 from the floor earlier this season. 5th game of the year for NC State. Morcell's got 1 of them, and NC State wants a timeout. So 7 points from Morcell. That's now 15 of 25 from the free throw line for NC State, and they're up by 8. Time for Protecting the Paint. It's brought to you by CPI Security, and it involves the Wolfpack on the defensive end.
Yeah, and Tom, even without Manny Bates, 5 block shots for the Wolfpack in this game. Duana very active in that front line defense. So Texas Southern with 4 blocks in their own right.
That is CPI Security, protecting the paint. And again, Hellum's out of the game for NC State. That one resulting in a basket at the other end for Sebron. Since Hellum's went out with the technical, Mike, an 18-10 run for NC State. Not too bad. And Morcell and Hayes, who did not score as a combination in the first half, 14 points between those two guys in the second half.
And the other thing, too, I mean, NC State's offense has been much more predicated on getting to the rim, getting inside. Only 8 3-point attempts in the half as opposed to 13 in the first half.
Inside of 5 minutes to go in regulation. Gilliam stepping back. Gilliam all net with a 3 for Texas Southern. first points of the night for Gilliam to cut the lead to 5.
That had been 2 of 3 from 3 coming into this game. Seemed a little bit more playing time. Averaged 22 minutes a game his last 2.
10 different Tigers have scored in this game.
Yeah, they keep on answering. NC State looking to stretch that lead out.
Sebron hanging and scoring. Count the basket for Sebron. He's up to 20 points in the ball game.
And very close to another double-double for him. 3 in the first 4 games. He's got 9 rebounds to go along with those 20, maybe 21 points. There may not be a player in the league who's improved as much as he has from last year, Tom.
Ernest Ross comes into the game. DeWanna leaves. You're right, Mike. He averaged about 5 points per game last season. Has really taken over as the main offensive threat for NC State.
Walker back into the game for Texas Southern with his 4 personal fouls. Goaltending.
Ross deflected it away, scored the bucket on the drive by Gilliam, who just hit that 3 a moment ago from straight away. Ross is a freshman.
It was a quick stint for him. They just wanted to buy DeWanna some time.
Florida High School, Florida High School Player of the Year last year for Ross. Lachua, Florida. Hasn't scored any points this season, and he's on the bench now. Sebron stepping back.
And he hit a 3 earlier, but I think the teams are going to challenge him to make that shot. They were going underneath on the screen. Kind of dared him to take the 3.
He is 1 for 4 now from beyond the arc. That 3 he made that Mike referenced, the first make from three-point real estate this season for Sebron. Shot clock's inside of 10. Gilliam again.
A lot of one-on-one, a lot of one shot. Now it's much different in this second half.
The lead is 6. It will be as high as 8 in the second half for NC State. Tigers led 41-37 earlier in the half, but Cam Hayes hits that little baseline move, and he got fouled. Henry picked up his 4th personal. It's Cam Hayes creating separation and hitting the bottom of the net. Packed by 8. Darion Sebron. What a game for him tonight. He is the feature and the subject of our Fresh Market Discover the Best, Mike.
And I like the fact, too, that he was spreading the ball around in the first half, wasn't very aggressive, looking for his offense, but he's had a very efficient game. 8 of 14 from the floor. Got to tidy up the free throw shooting a little bit. 4 of 8 there, and I think teams will start daring him to make those 3-point jump shots instead of letting him get into the lane where he's so effective.
Fresh Market, discover the best. How about 4 double-doubles in 5 games this season for Darion Sebron? His teammate Cam Hayes at the free throw line, unable to finish off the 3-point play. Ross is back in there, and he just picked up a foul. First on Ross. Let's walk to the other end of the floor. Or jog.
They're going to be doing it's going to be offense for defense with DeWanna and Ross for the rest of the game.
DeWanna in, Ross out. Hellam's unavailable. He's fouled out. Rosas. Hellam's on the bench. 10 points. Sebron leads the way with 21. That's 8 now for Rosas after the free throws. And 13 boards for Rosas as well. 2:45 to go, 6-point difference. Marcel backs it out.
NC State running clock, trying to use all of the 30 seconds.
Hayes had it knocked away right into the hands of his teammate, Thomas Allen.
I count that as an assist. That's a hometown assist.
First basket of the game for Allen. Walker at the other end gets fouled by Marcel on the move to the rim. First free throw for Walker.
But, you know, you talk about teams like this, Tom, that go on their road warriors in November, December. But you look at last year, they won 15 of their last 17 games in conference, and that's what got them into the tournament. Johnny Jones, we talked about, has got to hold his team together emotionally, mentally, keep their spirits up.
Walker's only got 5 after leading the team at Air Force for 16 points in a losing effort on Wednesday, 61-57. Shot clock at 5 for Hayes. That's a 2-point basket. Just inside the line, 11 points. Cam Hayes.
Showed up big in the second half without Helms.
Jones dropped it low to Walker. Show and go. Tough one through the lane. Dewana rips it out of the air.
Good defense, too, off the dribble that time with the 4 personal fouls. Played them well, stayed on the ground.
NC State trailed at halftime 31-28. And they trailed 41-37 earlier in the half. They built a 9-point lead. Henry might have been deflected. Now the final minute. Sebron came away with it.
That's just another step in the process of figuring out life without Manny Bates.
Dewana got fouled. NC State has tied its largest lead of the ball game. Bates got to be pleased with what he has seen from his team. They struggled, shot just 29% as a team, Mike, in that first half.
Got a lot more in transition out in the open floor in the second half, though, Tom. They closed off the offensive glass a lot better for Texas Southern, and really got some good transition points.
Up to 40% in total shooting. Henry committed that last foul, so that should be his 5th. He is on the bench. Henry had 10 points. He remains the only double-digit scorer in the game for Texas Southern. Ebenezer Dewana, sophomore from Ghana. 1 of 2 from the line. His first point of the game, that first free throw. And the largest lead of the night with 33 seconds to go. Gilliam hanging and scoring. Seven points for Gilliam. Might not be enough for the Tigers on the road tonight, Mike.
No, I was impressed. Good first half. They hung in there, and really, I thought the Wolfpack did a terrific job with Helms going out of the game. Really rallied around and were pretty explosive.
3-pack players got to double digits. Sebron led the way with 21. Hayes with 12. Helms had 10. And that'll do it from PNC Arena.
Now we got 6/10 left. Hold on a second here. That was the shot clock going off.
Hey, if the coaches are shaking hands, that's the ball game.
Well, that's an extended shake then.
And now they put 1.4 back on the clock.
Just a little housekeeping.
Everybody having a smile on that one. 65-57, Mike. That is the final. So the Wolfpack improving to 4-1 in the season. They're perfect at home so far, 3-0. And they got the win. Sebron, 21 points, leading the way. 65-57 Pack. Tuesday night, most of these same regional sports networks, more ACC basketball. Number 18, North Carolina, hosting UNC Asheville. Check your local listings for the broadcast time in your region. For Mike Cheminsky, I'm Tom Wormy. You've been watching ACC basketball on your regional sports network. Good night from Raleigh, North Carolina.